Hey YouTube, welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a workshop tour. I'll turn you around here so you can see there we've got the Stando Blue water system, which is actually the same system as what I was using at the previous shop. However, you might notice a little bit of a different stirring rack. So now I'm in Melbourne, which is a bit of a colder place. So what they'll do is they'll shut these screens overnight and then make sure that they turn this tinting rack on, that it gets plugged into the power here, and if it gets below, I don't know exactly what temperature is, but if it gets below a certain temperature, it might be like 4 or 5 degrees, it'll then heat it up to stop it from freezing, because yeah, it's water based, it's not solvent based. So I've heard that once they freeze, they don't come back, they don't come good, these water-based paints. So apart from that, pretty straightforward Stando Blue system there. Got all the good stuff. I mean, we don't do any mixing and matching of like inferior products. So we're not using Cyrox primers, Cyrox clears. We're not using like cheap reducers in the clears or anything like that. It's all premium, and yeah, no sort of inferior products, no cheaper products to save $1 here or there. Look, there might be some ancillary products like sandpapers that they might save $1 on here or there, but to be fair, most of the ancillary products are top notch as well. So that aside, we've actually still got the Glazer at 55 line solvent based system there. So honestly, I thought I'd seen that for the last time. I didn't think that I would have ever seen that in a panel shop again, but it's still here. So to be honest, it really doesn't get used that much because it is pretty dated, you know. Like, yeah, I haven't used that since probably 2011 or 2012, but prior to that, that's all I used. Like, I did my apprenticeship on the Glazer at 55 line, and the only time they ever really use it is on like solid color black. So what they've found is, like, sometimes I'll get like little specks, and they've just found that for the solid color blacks and like really dark solid colors, that this is the better system. So yeah, that is what it is. I mean, they're both there, but as I say, that one really doesn't get used. I've only used it once, and that was on actually the very first job that I did here. It was just a solid color black rear bumper. And what we've got in here is all our clear coats. So I'll give you guys a bit of a look in here. So this is a clear coat that we use mostly, and it is top-notch clear, Standox COC Performance Pro clear. Yeah, it's a very fast clear, and it goes very hard. Now, the next thing that some people have been talking about is the water floor spray booth. So I'll give you guys a quick look in here. I won't hang around in this booth for too long because I'm actually halfway through painting this bumper here. So just to give you guys a look, so the way these booths run is they got water in that. When the booth's running, the water actually circulates around, it grabs all of the overspray, and then it takes it down out of the way. And then you also add some chemical to the water that actually breaks the paint down. Don't ask me much more about it because I'm not an expert on it. But one of the first things I did notice is that the walls are nice and clean. Like, they're pretty relatively clean, really. And then they told me that these walls have not been painted in over 3 years. So that's pretty impressive, considering that's 3 years worth of paint jobs that it's been doing. So yeah, they do have pretty good extraction and suction out of them. The roof filters are nice and clean, which is obviously important. And they've got this bit of a setup over here, which I just had turned on, but I turned them off because the bumper's pretty much dry. The base coat's pretty much dry now. But yeah, these are called quads. I think some people call them quads. Well, this is two of the 4 quads. So what you then do is you just plug your air line into that, and then these air blowers will circulate the air onto the panels that you're painting, and then it'll help dry off that waterborne base coat. Because airflow is necessary for the drying of the water base coat. So had some people asking about the water floor booths, saying that they thought that they were illegal. And I think you're not allowed to do new installs anymore, but if you already have a water floor spray booth, you're allowed to keep them. But yeah, I don't think they're allowed to do new installs. Now, this is something that I just heard probably about 10 years ago. I heard that someone got Legionnaire's disease from one of these booths. So those of you who know what Legionnaire's disease is, it's from stagnant water. So water that's not moving, it will just get some kind of a bacteria in it, and supposedly somebody actually got Legionnaire's disease from a booth that wasn't being maintained properly. I don't know how true that is, but that's just what I heard. But look, all of that aside, we've got two booths, which is pretty cool. So the mixing room is here, as you can see here. That's out into the workshop, and this is from the other view. And we've got one door going there, one door going this way. So we've got two spray booths, one each side, which is actually quite handy to have. There is actually a little bit more overspray on the back wall in here. And what you do get in some spray booths, it depends on the design and all that kind of stuff, is you get these little bits of turbulence up in the corners. So that's actually what that is. That's all the overspray because of it's being caught up in the turbulence. But it was, I was surprised to see that, because like the walls have stayed nice and clean, I guess because they're vertical, but because of that turbulence, it's just gone and got caught on the corner of the light. So these are only half lights turned on. You can flick it on to another stage, and then the booth will actually, as you can see up here, only half of these lights are on. So yeah, the booth will light up even more when you flick that second set of lights on. So we do have we've got the color cards here. So to be honest, I don't use them much here. The level of quality that they expect here is, as I say, just an order of magnitude above anywhere else. Like where I used to work, they would just get a color card. If it looks good, mix it and paint it. And to be honest, most of the time they were pretty reliable. I only really have one color that I remember that came out really bad. That was like some Lexus or something, and yeah, you just report them. If you found a color card that didn't replicate, you just tell the reps and they'd have it looked at. But that aside, they're pretty easy going with what guns I use. They don't force me to use a specific gun or a specific setup. They say, just do the job. If the job looks good, I don't really care how you get there. Just get the job done to that standard. And so I find them pretty easy going, to be honest. Yeah, like as I said in one of the introductory videos that I did where I was spraying this bumper, and I'll give you guys a look at that in a minute. Some painters do struggle because they're not used to doing work to this high standard of quality. I mean, I did struggle in the first week just getting used, adjusting to the way that they want things done. Yeah, they're really into their technical side of things, so it's been good sort of even having a chat to Sean. I actually used to work with Sean, one of the painters. There, his gun's up the top here. He's actually got a few different guns here. You can see he's got his Segolas, he's got a Wolcom here, Segola, Pro Light, Pro Light, and that's actually my one here. These are my guns. I'm mainly rocking my Pro Lights, to be honest. So yeah, that's my Gunman Edition green Pro Light. Very rare, those ones. I think there was only like 5 or 6 of them made. So we had a lot of people trying to get their hands on one, but hopefully we'll get another run of Gunman Edition Pro Lights done one day soon. I use these for like little spot repairs and stuff like that. Still rocking these old school ANIs. I still love those little guns. I actually did have a couple of the ANI gauges go on me, and like they were technically still working, but they were out. Like they were definitely out, these ANI gauges. So I had actually had some people say that in the past, that they were reading falsely, and I've now had that happen to 2. So yeah, look, I mean, I do like them. I like the price of them. It's just something to be wary of, that they can go out of whack. But another thing is, like, don't always worry about what that says. Worry about if it feels right when you're spraying. So sometimes you do have to up your pressure. Sometimes you have to turn it down a little bit. So I'll give you guys a bit more of a look around the workshop. So this here is our gun cleaning machine. It's a Dresster 2600. It's one hell of a gun cleaning machine. It's actually really good. I believe it's German. It looks like it's expensive, and it probably is. So you can see there, it's got the extraction fan, so you're not breathing it in. So that's it. Great gun cleaning. We'll do the spray outs here to spray the colors out, and then we've got this thing here. Sean was telling me that that's a like $3,000 heat gun, so we use that to dry our color cards, and then when we do the clear coat, so like all color cards will be sprayed out by hand and then 2-pack cleared, so there's no just, you know, one uncatalyzed clear over the top, none of that. Everything, yeah, as I say, above and beyond what you're probably used to in any other shop. These are the prep carts, and yeah, we've got the dust extraction on the side. I actually love these things here. These are to hold the vacuum hoses, so they're pretty cool. They've actually got 2 different Whizzies or orbital sanders. This one here is a 2.5 mil, so I believe they're a 2.5 mil orbit, that is. I believe they're like a finishing sander, but I find them too slow. I don't really like them. And these are the standard 5 mil, a bit faster, gets the job done quicker. So yeah, look, there's not a great deal in the paint shop at the moment. It turns out that one of the guys in the panel shop is actually having a bit of time off. So that's a quick look into the panel shop there. I won't go too far in there because there might be some number plates that are uncovered, and that's one thing. The boss came up to me last week. He said, look, I don't mind you doing your videos, just cover up any of the number plates on the cars. So yeah, there we go. These are the kind of cars that we're working on. I think this is actually the, oh, here's Sean. You want to be on YouTube again? Yeah, this is a guy that was actually he was in one of my videos previously. We did the DNA custom paints. What was it, like a flip color or something like that? Yeah, chameleon, something like that. So
looked a bit younger then too.
Yeah, probably. So this is the bumper that I sprayed yesterday. So we've got this 4-poster hoist here, which is pretty cool. So, you know, I had that jacked up even higher when I was buffing, like right up every single nook and cranny. So anything up under here, anything that's behind the lights and the moldings will get buffed before the bumper goes on the car, and then when it does go on the car, it'll be jacked up so that we don't have to bend down and, you know, do our knees in, and we can also see exactly what we're doing properly. So yeah, this is the kind of level of quality that is expected at this shop. So you won't find many, if any, imperfections with this. So most shops it's a case of just the tops, you know, just buffing the tops up, and that's it. And anything that's down below your knees, they don't really get too bothered about. But at this shop, they do everything. So as I said, it did take a little bit of adjusting to get used to it, but I'm there now and I'm enjoying it. So look, as you can notice, like they're all pretty much clean jobs, like nice new cars, you know. I think this is that bumper that I'm doing in there in the booth at the moment. That's actually an old car for this shop, that Mercedes over there. This is off a Porsche Macan, which I actually did a respray on recently. So I've actually already done the buffing on this. I haven't gone over it with the orbital polisher yet, but I will get to that later. So it's all being denibbed. It's got a slight layer of dust over it at the moment, but same thing, you'll be struggling to find any imperfections in it. Even the little things like the overspray, the amount of overspray on the inside, it should look pretty damn close to factory. I mean, look, we're not miracle workers. We're not going to get everything absolutely perfect, but we at least strive to get it as close as possible so that even painters wouldn't even be able to notice that it's been painted before. So this is a bit of a look at my polishing cart, my polishing trolley here. So I'm pretty well set up here. I've got all my cordless stuff. I've got the cordless rotary polisher, cordless orbital. I've got my inspection light, which I like to use. So this will show me if I've got any cutback marks. So as you can see there, it's quite bright, and I can see any imperfections with that. And as I turn that on, I can actually see that there is a few swirl marks in that bonnet there. But as I said, I didn't actually orbital that yet. So that'll get done once it's on the car. You know, they might end up putting a few fingerprints on it or something. So there's no use in getting it completely finished just yet until it's back on the car. I've got all my Milwaukee stuff here. So I've got the the drill and the impact driver. They're cool to have. I mainly actually bought them so that I could get the battery. Yeah, it's cool to have all of that stuff. Like this mini polisher, I would say is one of the best tools that I've bought in the last year, you know, and yeah, really handy. I'm glad that I did end up getting that 6 amp hour battery, because it does get a lot of work, especially at this shop here. That guy Sean that you saw just before, he's actually got one of the snap-on ones, and they're not very good. So if you're in the market for a cordless polisher, I would highly recommend that that Milwaukee one. But apart from that, this is a quick look at the polishers they use. Look, they use Scholl here. Supposedly it's like a German, made in Germany. I'm not the biggest fan of it. This is the shortcut, which is the first step, which is supposedly like their nice and coarse one. But what I've found is it will look polished, and then the next day you'll have some more denib marks coming back up, whereas I found that less likely to happen with the 3M fast cut. Personally, I'm a big fan of the 3M system. That's my go-to. I don't think you can beat it as far as I'm concerned. But look, another part of that could be that the clear coat that we use, that Performance Pro clear coat, is very hard to polish, and yeah, you've got to be really on the ball when you're doing your polishing on that clear, because yeah, cutback marks will happen. I've got to get back to work soon. Got to go back into that booth and clear coat that rear bumper up. It's actually one thing that I was meaning to show you guys, all the panel stands that they got over here. So this one here is actually pretty handy. That's for like front bumpers. So you can actually like pivot the bumper any different angle, and they've got all these different like T-bar stands, different T-bars, as you can see here. This is actually a Mazda, so this car is kind of a little bit out of place in this workshop, because it's more prestige, you know, more the European vehicles most of the time. But as it turns out, like most of the time when you get like a Japanese car in here, it's got a story behind it, and the owner's other car is like a Porsche or a Mercedes or something like that. So yeah, it just turns out that they're a customer of the shop. It's not like, yeah, I don't think most of the time, if you just came in off the street with your Honda or something, they probably wouldn't take it. That's just how it is around here. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. I might cover them in a future video, or get back to you in the comment section. Until next time, I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favorite is those spray suits. So they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with a Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested.